Alrighty, hello, welcome to Making Moves, where each week Kieran and myself get sent a few articles by the team with very short notice, each discussing companies making moves in interesting ways in their markets or industries that week. Always to be discussed in under 15 minutes, always unscripted, always unedited, and therefore always with some sort of cognitive stimulation. So, Kieran, what are you sipping on this week?
I'm sticking with our subscription, the unofficial sponsor of
Making Moves.
Nice.
I was kicked repeatedly in the head by a 3-year-old for almost the entire night last night, so decided to dial up my stimulation game, and I've got some Musashi.
Oh, good Lord.
Energy.
Good Lord. What are you doing?
An evolution in energy drinks. It's a zero sugar flavor sensation formulated to take your workout, training, or game to the next level. An amplified energy beverage with a synergistic blend of amino acids and key nutrients to contribute to a reduction in tiredness and fatigue and support normal energy metabolism.
There's a lot of promises in that.
But Musashi is not the company we're talking about this week. We are going to talk about Allbirds, or now NewBird AI, in what can only be described as a fairly dramatic transformation.
I can't think of another one in that I'm aware of where it's such a. We did do this. We do make shoes. No, we don't. Someone else makes those shoes under the same name, but our company is now going to be called something else, so we're going to do something else.
So for anyone listening, Kieran is a closet basketball star. He played basketball for many years to quite a high level. But anyway, the point being, in basketball, you pivot, right?
Yes.
And you can pivot without it being classed as traveling. So technically, what is a pivot? Technically speaking. But keeping 1 point of contact on the ground or something, right?
Yes.
Whereas what Allbirds have done has been described in the press as a pivot, but I actually think they probably ran out of the court with their ball, burnt their basketball, grabbed a different ball, and they're playing another sport.
The arena and they're playing a different game. They have taken their ball home, they have changed the ball for a different ball, and they've gone to a completely different field to play a completely different game.
But someone's still playing with the original ball in the original court. They're just not there anymore.
Actually, you're right. They left the ball. No, they took their clothes off. Someone else put them on. More accurately, they took their shoes off.
So, the details. Allbirds, obviously very successful. At one point valued at $4 billion, and went public. Have declined pretty much ever since, and therefore recently, as part of this repositioning, sold the operations, the brand, and the stock, I think, of the Allbirds
stores,
which they already had, but they sold all that for $40 million. So peanuts compared to what the valuation once was. And now they've shifted to NewBird AI, and they're going to be providing GPUs as a service. So pure tech play, jumping on the kind of NVIDIA bandwagon. But what's also interesting is really the point of difference for them as a shoe company was their B Corp status and their environmental thing. As part of this shift, they've also, and I'm not sure if this was passed by shareholders or not, but anyway, they were proposing to remove the reference to environmental sustainability from the company documents. So not only are they shifting completely business model, market focus, everything, but they're also taking that kind of, call it purpose element out of the whole mix as well.
I don't think you can be a GPU SaaS Is that what we're calling them? And I think it would be difficult to be that and then try and claim, energy efficiency. Although we have heard of them, right? We have heard of people looking to try and do that, but given the amount of energy required, it's an unusual.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. I don't know enough about, unless your angle was massive energy reduction or something like that for data centers. I don't know. Maybe the lease angle as opposed to purchase could have been that. Anyway, they're not. They're moving away from that. So it brings in a pretty philosophical kind of existential question around what makes a company and a brand a brand.
Yeah. Sorry, you were going to finish your thought.
Well, I think if they weren't public, it wouldn't be the same company. The whole point around this is they've still got the same listing,
right?
Course. So
You're
therefore, right. They are same shareholders, same listing. It's been put to a vote by the shareholders. I mean, their share prices jumped somewhere in the region, somewhere between 400 to 800%, because they're now an AI company. But to me, and anyone listening that wants to correct us on this, please do so and enter the discussion. But I think that is the only reason this can be in any way described as a company. It's essentially a shell company now making a pivot and having an entirely new corporate focus underneath that company. They're maintaining their listing. But if this was private, surely it's not the same company.
The two things that jumped out to me around this, because this we are here talking about repositioning, but this is like we said, this is the Z-axis, right?
Yeah.
This is a couple of things. One, an abstract level, the definition of a company is group of people. So, okay, it's the same group of people. It's the same company. I think you're absolutely right. Why are they still the same company? It's because it's a publicly listed company. If it was a private company, they would just say, we sold the company and we started a new company. Otherwise, I don't get it. And then I think the other thing that I found was interesting, and again, it relates to who are the people, who are the group of company, particularly the main shareholders, that Allbirds was, and I guess is, quite popular because of the sustainability with a lot of people in Silicon Valley and tech bros.
And they were founded in Silicon Valley, which...
You're right. So it's the people you know. So while the relationship between shoes and AI seems completely... I mean, you could see how an AI sports manufacturing company could take a tech position on this, but this isn't that. This is completely separate. But when you go, but this was an apparel that was appealing to a particular subset of people, you can see where the influence comes from. And this isn't about customers, this is about shareholders that obviously to be voting to say, yeah, actually, we want this company to do this. And therefore, had that shoe company been popular with not tech bros, it may not be making this so-called pivot.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, so is the insinuation there that it's some sort of same target audience, different products sort of play? I mean,
this is about stakeholders. Same about who owns the company.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, they've had an investment of 50 mil in this already, right?
Because there's a bunch of people that are involved in this that basically are probably, I think, propping it up. And I think a lot of people, this is not stock advice, for me, this is going to go up and then just go fucking down.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's the bit that I don't really... So talk about repositioning, and I think it's clear that our point of view is this is almost needs a new term for repositioning, because different product, different market, different everything, right? But what I'm less clear on is what's their positioning in the GPU as a service space.
Yeah. Well,
other than just jumping on the bandwagon, they're going to acquire some GPUs and then they're going to lease them as a service provider. Okay, I mean, what's the proposition there? How are you doing it any differently? And they might turn around and say, yeah, well, we disrupted an already very established apparel business successfully in a very short space of time. Okay, and they did that through arguably some very clever design. They had a very kind of clear aesthetic, but they also had their environmental sustainability angle and their B Corp status, which is very a thing of the time.
Was it one or both? Tim Brown, an ex-soccer player, right? Like
from New Zealand, yeah.
Right. So, oh yeah, right. Sports apparel, sport athletes. That's what's unusual at this. You're not there going, oh, these founders are from blah.
Well,
the
other founder
is sustainability.
Some sort of sustainability engineer, but like I think in some sort of energy space originally, which could be where their angle is going to come from for this. They might have some clever way of being more efficient, but again, that's why that point of removing that out of their kind of manifesto is interesting, because that may have been an angle that they were taking into this space. It doesn't seem to be so.
Anyway, I think this is more where it's interesting is what is a company and what is a brand. And normally they are, I mean, we take the position that a company is a brand is nothing more, nothing less than the reputation of that company. That's their brand.
Well, they're used synonymously, right? In so many spaces, but this kind of breaks that mold, Yeah,
because you're like, I mean, obviously there's still some residue, but there will be plenty of customers that will continue buying Allbirds with no awareness of this change.
Yeah,
just there's the shoes I like, I'll buy those shoes. I mean, they're just not following the stock market. They don't look up who owns the shoe company. They, as long as that sustainability promise, and I believe the purchaser is behind brands like Ed Hardy and a few others.
Yeah, American Exchange. Yeah,
it makes sense that they are making the purchase, especially for that price.
Yeah, and do they have a track record of sustainable operations? I don't know.
I've never heard that in the sentence before. But as you said, that is the in-market position of Allbirds. That has been what people have bought and why they buy. So I actually think it's a great purchase. And if they can build on the equity of the brand of Allbirds and what that means, they won't have the founders anymore. So it'd be interesting what they do with it. It probably depends on how it sits in their portfolio.
Yeah, and often we finish with what does this mean for anyone that's considering repositioning in their market. But I mean, it comes back to a very fundamental philosophical question about business. We've always said when we're advising on purpose work that you can have multiple visions, you can have multiple missions, multiple value, but ultimately if that kind of fundamental purpose of the organization changes or is different, it's a new company. And that's essentially what's happened here. The only thing that connects it to the existing company is the fact that in this case, company or corporation is defined by the listing it has on a public stock market.
You think they did this to prove us wrong?
Yeah, they were like, damn, we need an exception to that rule that Kieran and Ross came up with. But it does show that companies can be defined in different ways in different environments. Company in this case is defined by its listing on the stock exchange, right? So therefore the term kind of shell company, which is probably being used for this sort of concept. Anyway, not sure we'd advise it as a repositioning maneuver. It's pretty dramatic, but be interesting to see how they go.
High risk.
All right, cheers till next time.
Bye.
Bye.